Hey you guys, welcome back to On the Farm with E-I-E-I-O. It is cold and rainy out today, but our farrier is going to be here in about 20 minutes, so I need to get the horses out, and I thought I would show you how we prepare our horses for the farrier to come. So right now they are way down there, so I need to go down and get them. I'm going to start by grabbing the two bigger girls, and hopefully America will follow us up. We're Evelyn,
Isaac, Eli, Isla,
Owen, and this is On the Farm with
E-I-O.
Let's go! I'm just gonna explain what a farrier is quick. A farrier is someone that comes over and trims your horse's hooves. They kind of grow like fingernails, so they grow longer over time. And about every other month, the farrier needs to come and trim those hooves down so they don't get too long. If they get too long, they're uncomfortable for the horse and they won't be able to walk properly. It is important to always have your horses tied up and ready before the farrier comes. Because he's busy, he's got other horses to see, and you want to make sure this process goes as smoothly as possible. So right now I'm going down to get the horses. It is really muddy out, so I'm hoping they are not too dirty because it's always really embarrassing when the farrier comes and the horses are covered in mud. Oh my gosh, America! How? How did you do that? I cannot believe her. Yep, these girls are soaking too. But I guess that's to be expected on a rainy day. Hi. You're so wet. At least you two aren't covered in mud like America is. My horses are also in desperate need of a farrier right now. Time to get the halters on. Halters are on, so now we're gonna walk up. I know, that's the treat pocket. You are so crazy. We definitely chose the perfect day for the farrier to come. Okay, we got spots, and it just started pouring rain. Now we gotta get the other girls. Yes, the horses look bad, but it could definitely be worse. Let's get to work. Also, yes, they do have a shelter. I guess they just refused to use it this morning. Okay, now I'm gonna do my best to try and groom them. I always like to have my horses relatively clean for the farrier because we don't want him getting covered in mud for my horses. So I always do my best to do a little bit of grooming before the farrier gets here. Because she's so wet, there really isn't much I can do, but I'm just kind of scraping off all of the extra water. She isn't that dirty, which is good. If the farrier were to come a couple hours later, I'm sure they would be covered in mud because after they get rained on, they always go and roll in the mud. Unfortunately, I was a little bit late with America. She had to bite the brush before she allowed me to brush her, but then I did. She is such a mess. Oh my gosh, why did she have to do that? But she's just a baby, and honestly, she seemed pretty proud of herself when she came up to me with that mud all over her. I just always like to make sure my horses are nice and clean and groomed before the farrier comes. It just makes more sense and it's more respectful. If I was a farrier, I wouldn't really want to deal with a bunch of mud. In the spring, when the horses are shedding, you're definitely going to want to spend more time grooming to get all that extra hair off. Usually in the spring, I use the farrier coming as an excuse to spend a bunch of time grooming them and getting a bunch of that extra hair off. And in the summer, if you have a bunch of flies, always make sure to fly spray them because you don't want the horse being aggressive trying to kick the flies and accidentally stepping on your farrier. Another thing I do before the farrier comes is I always do my best to scoop out all their hooves. Even though the farrier kind of does it anyway, I just feel like it's respectful and nicer to already have their hooves good and clean before they get there to trim them. And if you haven't guessed already, all of my horse's hooves are extremely muddy, so I'm probably gonna get dirty in this process. None of my horses have any shoes, so I don't know if there's any particular care that you need to do before the farrier comes for shoes. There was definitely mud everywhere, and this was definitely a very messy job, and I don't even know if the farrier appreciates this or if it's helpful. But I like to do it just so that I can check the condition of the horse's hoof before the farrier comes, just to make sure everything looks in order. You also want to make sure that before the farrier comes that all your horses are calm and that they are picking up their hooves well and that they're being respectful and not trying to bite you or anything, because you do not want your horse to bite the farrier. If your horse is a little antsy or whatever, while the farrier is picking out their hooves, just kind of hold their lead rope and pet their head and kind of talk to them to try and get them to calm down so that it goes easier for the farrier. So really, we just want to make it be as easy for the farrier as possible and make it go smoothly. I have had to lunge my horses before the farrier comes before. I did America's hoof. She's definitely pulling on the rope and I don't know why, but she did really good. Okay, my hooves, my hands are very dirty from all of that hoof picking. Now I need to do Selena. Okay, so now I'm cleaning out Selena's hooves. I don't know if you can tell, but she's definitely our biggest horse. She stands somewhere around 15 hands tall. Selena's a horse that I ride all the time. Riding her is just so much fun. This is about the time of morning where the horses are pretty relaxed and they're pretty much just napping as I do this, so that's really helpful. I also want to point out really quick that dogs really love the trimmings that come off of the horse's hoof. Okay, so that is pretty much it. You want to make sure that your horses are out and ready before the farrier is there. You want to do some grooming and you also want to pick out their hooves. And if it's summer, you'll definitely want to give them some fly spray. And in shedding season, you're definitely going to have to put a little bit of extra work into the grooming. I always give my horses treats before and after and do my best to help the farrier along the way. And lastly, any tips or advice that your farrier gives you, follow it, because your farrier is gonna know what he's doing because he's been working with horses for however many years. So anything your farrier tells you to do moving forward, definitely do it for the well-being of your horse and you. Okay, the farrier is here. I hope you found this video helpful, and the next time that your farrier comes, you know what to expect and what to do. Please like, share, and subscribe, and comment down below if you have any more questions. Love from our farm to your home.